Greetings from Siem Reap in Cambodia, and I'm sharing this with fellow educators. And I've been involved in the education field for close to 40 years, maybe more than 40 years, and 27 of those years has been in Cambodia, involved in the education field, either developing schools, starting schools, or teaching or training in some way. And so nowadays I'm in semi-retirement, and I'm teaching at the university. I'm teaching online, and I'm doing training and development with organizations and businesses, churches, and schools on the side. This is what I call semi-retirement. But I want to share with you some observations that I've made about Cambodian English as a second language students. And so this is, generally speaking, I would say, not just at the low level, but even at the higher level, there is still a lot of challenges. And so let me just share with you what my observations are and what I think some of the solutions are. Number one, Cambodian students, for the most part, have never been taught phonics. Therefore, they don't know the sounds of the English language. They know the ABCs, they know the names, but they don't know the sounds. And so when I learned the Khmer language, I had to learn the sounds. If I don't know the sounds, how can I speak clearly? And so it's the same in the English language. And so they have never been taught phonics before, and so therefore they don't know the sounds of the vowels or the consonants, and therefore they can't speak properly. And so this is one problem. Another problem is Cambodians, generally speaking, do not pronounce the sound of the final consonant, and particularly the S. The reason why is because in the Cambodian language, you usually don't pronounce the final consonant. But in English, it's a must. If you don't pronounce the final consonant, sometimes you're saying the opposite of what you want to say. And so in my training, my language training, this is one of the main things that I do. I focus on the sounds, the proper sounds of the vowels and consonants in the English language. And I focus on the speaking part of it. I focus on making the sound of the final consonant. And how do you do that? You do it by drills, over and over and over again in many different ways, until they create a new habit. And that's what the goal is. Cambodian English speakers must create new habits in how they speak. Thirdly, they have not mastered basic grammar. By basic grammar, I mean simple present tense, simple past tense, simple future tense, and also the singular and the plural. These are common throughout, not just the lower level, but even the medium level and even the higher level. There's a misunderstanding of putting together past with past, present with present, future with future, single with singular, and plural with plural. It's a common problem. And so this is also a major focus of how I teach. It's a common problem. And they have not mastered the basic parts of grammar. My experience is many of them, not all of them, but many of them, at least at the lower level, and at my experience, first, second, and even third year at the university, that they don't understand nouns and verbs and pronouns and what a proper noun is and how to write a proper noun properly. And even writing, by the way, in writing, paragraphs, proper paragraph and proper word spacing, and adjectives and adverbs, conjunctions, articles. And so this has been missed somewhere along their way, and these are the foundations of the English language. Also, they don't have the opportunity to speak. This is my experience in teaching and relating to Cambodians in the educational field for many, many years in Cambodia. They don't have enough opportunity to speak English in class. Cambodians love to study grammar. They love to study grammar, but they still can't speak. I was teaching one class, and I teach in Khmer and I teach in English because of the level of the students. And I asked one of the Cambodian students who seemed to understand what I was saying, I asked him if he could explain my grammar teaching in Khmer to the students. He amazed me. He got up to the whiteboard and he taught English grammar better than me. And then after he finished and we had a break in the class, I came to him, I said, "Excuse me, do you know where I can buy a whiteboard marker near here?" And he replied in the Cambodian language, "I'm sorry, teacher, I don't speak English." He did not understand what I said. He knew grammar better than me, but he could still not speak English. My conclusion is Cambodian English students are not given enough opportunity in class to speak English. And so they need to practice speaking English in class. And the next problem is they study too fast and they study too high. And so they like to study at a higher level than what they're at. Because prestige, because of pride, because it makes you feel better. You want to think better of yourself, and so you study at a higher level. But the problem is they have not mastered the lower level. And I've just made a video on mastery of the subject, a very important aspect of education, helping students to master the subjects. They study too high and they study too fast. So I have some students that watch my videos online. I teach for eSchool Cambodia in their app, and I teach the New Interchange American English book, and I give homework. And I have hundreds of students that study with me, but only a very small percentage do the homework. I watch them in the app, and they watch one video, another video, another video, and another video, but they don't do the homework, they don't apply it. So I think this is a problem generally for Cambodian ESL students. They study too fast, and they don't master the subject, they don't get it, and they study too high. And so what are solutions? I think solutions are remedial classes for students that are coming in too low, that perhaps we can offer a remedial class to them, a class on the side where they can learn some of these basics in a seminar or short course kind of a situation, focus on these basics that I've just mentioned. The second, one of the most important things for a Cambodian ESL student is to listen to someone talking English. They can listen to a native speaker like myself, or they can listen to a good Cambodian English speaker or other nationality English speaker that speaks English quite well, listening to English. I've got a lot of staff. I've had a lot of staff over the years, and many of them speak English very well. Few of them have actually studied English. They've picked up English by listening to native English speakers or listening to other Cambodians who speak English well. Many of them, and I've asked them, what is the key? Why do you speak English so well? They said, because I listen to the native speaker. And they said, I listen to the native speaker, I don't catch it all, but I catch some of it, and I keep improving. And so one of the problems is we have YouTube. That is not a problem. That's a great positive. We have so many options on YouTube, but some of the English speakers on YouTube talk too fast, and the students can't catch it. It's still worth watching, but they can't catch it. And some of them talk with such a strong accent, they can't understand. So that's part of the problem. That's why, by the way, that's why I have my own YouTube channel, and that's why I make English teaching videos. I try to speak clearly, I try to speak slowly. And another possible solution is, as I said already, students must speak, not just learn grammar. They must have the opportunity to speak, to read or to say it after the teacher, to repeat after the teacher. They must be given the opportunity to speak, and the teacher must correct their language. Don't let them get away with not pronouncing the final S or the final consonant. Don't let them get away with mixing up singular and plural or past and present. And the next solution could be they should be taught phonics. Somewhere in their course of study, someone needs to teach them that A has 4 different sounds and C has 2 different sounds. And so we need to teach the sounds of the consonants, the sounds of the vowels. And so it's very easy. So when I speak Khmer, because I know the Cambodian alphabet and I generally know the sounds of the Cambodian consonants and vowels, if I speak wrongly, the person that is correcting me can say, well, that is a caw, not a caw. Okay, I know the sound of caw. And so we can do the same thing when we're teaching English, is that we can remind them, remember, this is the sound of the C in this situation. This is the sound of the letter in this situation. And finally, they should be given the opportunity to write. And so students will ask me, teacher, why can't I remember what I've learned? There's many reasons why. And some of it has to do with not paying attention. Some of it has to do with not understanding. Some of it, most of it, probably has to do with not applying it. And so they should be given the opportunity to write, because writing brings information from our short-term memory into our long-term memory. And so they should be taught how to write correctly. By the way, some of my students, they have terrible English writing, because no one has taught them that every sentence begins with a capital letter. No one has taught them that proper nouns begin with a capital letter. No one has taught them that the letters are supposed to be close together, and there's 1 space between each word and 2 spaces between each sentence, and the punctuation is close to the end of the sentence, not far away. And so these are some basic things that need to be taught about writing, and they need to be given the opportunity to write. And so this is a big part of my English training as well. And so when I have a student write, I will often take 1 or 2 examples of a student's writing, show it to the rest of the students. I remove the name, and then we go through it, and I will explain sentence by sentence, is this correct? If it's not correct, why isn't it correct? And so writing is a great opportunity. And so I offer these to you, to fellow educators. My experience of relating to Cambodians for 27 years and speaking the Cambodian language and speaking the English language pretty good as well, I think that these are some of the problems and some of the solutions that we can use to help the Cambodians speak, read, write, and listen to English better. Thank you for listening.